Hey everyone, it's Jolt here. Happy New Year and welcome to Visual PKM. Today's video is inspired by this problem, that even though I have over 250 videos about Obsidian Excalidraw and Visual PKM on YouTube, and I have over 400 detailed release notes on GitHub about each of the plugin releases, when you have a specific question, it's extremely hard to find the answer. I'm thinking of questions like this one that I receive on Discord, on Twitter, on YouTube, in email, you name it, I get it all the time. Here's a typical question. How can I turn on that panel with pens and other functions on the right side of the screen? And of course, the person is referring to this panel right here, and you need to know that you need to enable in plugin settings custom pens, and you need to long click on scripts in the Obsidian tools panel to pin them here, and then you have the right hand side panel, which is super handy. I use it a lot. But how can you find the answer to such questions? How can you find out of the 250 videos the one that talks about this? It's like looking for a needle in the haystack. This is the problem that I'm going to give you a solution for today. So the video is built up like this. First, we're going to talk about the solution to this problem exactly. But then as I was developing my solution, I made it slightly more generic, because what I was thinking is, of course, I'm going to have future releases and you will need to find help for that as well. So I need to update it, etc. I made it more generic. But as I did that, that's when it dawned on me that what I've built is so much more powerful. This is such a powerful PKM tool. If you want to learn something, if you want to engage in a topic that's on YouTube, the solution that I'm going to show you is going to blow your mind away. This is an amazing solution for an extremely broad range of use cases, and it's super easy to implement. And then finally, all of this led me to something that I'm going to launch today. This has been on my mind for over a year now. This is something I'm extremely passionate about, and I think you and everyone who's in PKM and outside PKM should have this. Stick around and you'll find out what I'm launching. So to make this video playful, we're going to play with this puzzle, and we already have the first two pieces. We already talked about them. So I have 250 YouTube videos, and I have over 400 release notes. The next piece of the puzzle is Notebook LM. And recently I've released multiple videos on Notebook LM. First of all, podcast from the future that shows you how you can create or turn your notes into a podcast. Then in the 2 AI workflows video, I talk about this workflow where you take a topic with multiple books and PDFs, you drop it into Notebook LM, you create an overview podcast, you then mind map that podcast and use this as a thinking loop to structure your understanding of a topic that you already otherwise know and are familiar with. And so I talk about this here and I show you a mind map that I created this way. And finally, I use Notebook LM in Should You Trust AI with Your Second Brain? And just if you're not familiar with Notebook LM is this cool tool from Google that you can drop documents into and you can ask them. Here's a use case. You can see I have lots of Notebook LM notebooks already. One use case I used it for recently was at work. We were trying to understand what the EU AI Act means for our company. So I downloaded the PDF from the EU website. I dropped it into Notebook LM. I created a short podcast to get a 10-minute overview about what this is about. And then I was able to ask the document Notebook LM specific questions about the AI Act with targeted answers to my questions. So my idea is that if I'm able to feed the 250 videos and the 400 release notes into Notebook LM, then bingo, I can build a tool that you can ask about videos and release notes. You can ask it about Obsidian Excalidraw. But there's a catch here. Actually, there are two catches here. Catch number one is I need to get hold of the YouTube transcripts. So how can I get hold of the 250 transcripts that I have? And then the second but is an even bigger issue. Notebook LM only allows you to add 50 resources, and of course 250 plus 400 is clearly greater than 50. So there's an issue of how can I somehow condense the 250 into 50 that I can then process with Notebook LM. So this is where the fourth piece of the puzzle comes here. So I created two scripts. I actually used ChatGPT to help me with this, and it was a pretty fast process to create the scripts. Both of them use templators. So this is the vault that I was using to process all of these notes. And I created these two scripts here. One is to fetch video data. The other is to generate markdown notes. And here I'm using two plugins. I'm using Templator as the core plugin to run the scripts. And I'm using AI for Templator because the way I processed each of the video, and let me just show you an example output. So here's a video that I processed. I processed it like this, that using ChatGPT, I also created a summary, key takeaways, and a formatted content. But then under it, I have the details from YouTube as well. So I have the YouTube description and I have the timestamped transcript. So here on the transcript, I can click wherever and it takes me there in the video. And so you can see this for each of my videos. I have this here. And also the formatted transcript as well has this link with the relevant timestamps. So you can see there the YouTube timestamps. So each of the paragraphs, at the end of the paragraph, if you read this paragraph and it's interesting, you can click on the timestamp and it takes you to the location in the video. The reason I did this like this was also because I'm publishing all of this on the Excalidraw Obsidian wiki page. So there's a link to the wiki in the video description. I'm adding a number of additional resources, my old blog posts, these videos, so all the 200 plus videos are available with the full text and with the descriptions, with the timestamps, and with the entire transcript, each of them with the relevant links. So these are all, of course, links. That's what I want to show you, that this is here a timestamped transcript. So this is all available there. But the point here that I want to highlight is I created these two scripts, and the scripts also create me an output that I call quarterly. So I decided to bundle videos into files based on each quarter, because then that is clearly, since my channel is not that long, it's only been going since 2021, I only get a handful of files. And of course each of these files look like this, that each video has a title, and then under the video you can find all the data that I just showed you. So here you can see that these were the videos that I published in this quarter. And then I took these files and I fed them into Notebook LM. You can see here all of these files plus some additionals. So let's see how this model would answer the question, how can I turn that panel with pens and other functions on the right side of the screen? And let's keep fingers crossed that we get something meaningful. So the panel, there you go. So the panel you're referring to is called the Custom Tools panel, and it can be activated by toggling tray mode. That's actually not correct. Go to menu, toggle tray mode, and then no, tray mode didn't do the trick for me. This panel has lots of buttons, including pens and scripts, and it is on the right side of the canvas. So let's see. Indeed, you do need to be persistent sometimes in asking, but sometimes it answers very well. It is not the tray mode. How can I turn on custom pens? Okay, so here, go to Obsidian settings, non-Excalidraw supported features, and custom pens. This is now we are on the right track. What I want to show you here is if I click 2, it takes me to the place in the, once you enable, let's see where this takes me. So this takes me, moving on, come to custom pens. This is good. So this now talks about in a video. Let's see which video this is. So I want to proceed. This is actually a good video. So here I talk about the custom pens and how I turn it on. But let's maybe take a look at another example of a question. So here's a question that I received 2 days ago. Why can't I give properties to my Excalidraw drawings? Which of course you can give properties, so that's a misunderstanding. Let's see. You might have a couple of misunderstandings when you mention, are you referring to document properties like found in YAML? And document property usually stored in YAML format. Visual properties, yeah, and so I am thinking of YAML properties. How can I add them to Excalidraw? This looks pretty relevant. So it does talk about switching to Markdown view mode, and it also talks about some of the Excalidraw specific document properties, and it also takes you to this document properties file where you can see all of the different Excalidraw properties, but also a good response here that explains to you where you can find that. But there's a sad face there. So the next piece in our puzzle is I created this notebook LM and I wanted to share it publicly so I can give you a link. You can log in and you can ask your questions. Unfortunately, Google doesn't allow that, but you can train your own model. So let me show you how. It's super easy. In the video description, I included a file, and if you extract this, then you will get a folder with the training files, and all you need to do is you need to head over to notebooklm.google.com. If you don't yet have an account, you need to create an account. You need to click here, create new, and all you need to do here is to take these files and drop them in here. And indeed, it was less than a minute. We already have this here, and you can start asking questions from Notebook LM. So let's move on. What's the next piece in the puzzle? And this is where my mind blew away, because I realized that what I built is so much more than just for Visual PKM. I can download any YouTube site, all the videos and all the transcripts, and I can actually create a notebook LM and start to think about that topic. So if there's a channel that you follow that's about the topic that you're interested in, with the same script, you can download all the transcripts, you can create the documents, and you can create the training data. Let me show you how this would work. And also I'm going to have a link, but you'll need to wait a little more in the video to find out how you can get the demo vault. The vault that I'm going to share with you is going to be here in a zip file. It's called the YouTube downloader vault. And once I'm ready with that, then I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to head over to my Obsidian folder, just going to paste it in here. And now I'm going to head over to here, manage vaults, and I'm going to open a new vault. And here I'm going to select the YouTube downloader vault. When Obsidian starts, it's going to ask you to trust and enable plugins. Once you're in here, you need to do two settings. First of all, you need to go to AI for Templater and you need to add your API keys. The welcome screen will explain to you how to get your OpenAI key, as well as it will lead you to the scripts folder to fetch video data. And here you need to provide the Google Cloud API key as well. I'm going to paste it in here, and here's a description of how you can get your own. And once you've set up your API keys, you will need to clean up the data. So this will come with the pre-configured data of my own YouTube channel, but you can just simply delete all of these, everything from the output folder, you can just simply delete, and also you don't need the miscellaneous files, so this can be deleted as well. So I've deleted everything. By the way, just a half sentence here, that from a cost perspective, processing my 250 videos, and actually I processed this multiple times because I was also testing the process, cost me a total of 50 cents, 49 cents. So this is dirt cheap. This is definitely, money is not a blocker here. And what I want to show you now is, let's download a YouTube channel. And I thought a good channel to play with is Nicole van der Hoeven's channel. So what you need to do is you need to go to the channel homepage and you need to copy the channel link. And then when you have the demo vault, you can press Alt-E or Option-E. That's going to open the Open Templater model. And here I need to click on Fetch Video Data. And I'm just going to replace this and add Nicole's channel here, and it's going to start to run. These are the videos that it's downloading. So each of these notes here is a separate video, and when it appears, that's when it has downloaded the details, the transcript and everything. This is going to take a couple of minutes depending on the channel. This can be up to 10 minutes or more. The download is ready, and once we are ready with this, then this file appeared here called data, and you're going to get this message from Obsidian that it's taking a long time because data is a super big file with all of the downloaded material. You don't need to worry about the data here. It's just to show you that everything that was downloaded is here. If you don't delete data, then the next time you run the script, it will first read the existing data and it won't download everything from YouTube again, but only the missing pieces. That's why the data is stored here. And by the way, you can download multiple channels into the same data. They are going to live beautifully next to each other. But once we are done with this, we can run the generate markdown script. So I'm going to press Alt-E. You can choose different GPT models. I'm using GPT-4o Mini because that's the lowest cost, and for this purpose it does a great job. All we need to do is just a bit of cleanup because typically transcripts are not very well formatted, so that's what I'm using it for. And plus to create key takeaways and a summary. And now we're going to download videos only for, let's say, from 1st of June this year. I know Nicole over the past couple of months hasn't created videos, so this is not going to be too many videos. I think in August she stopped. But here you can see that we already have video files appearing. So you can see here each of the files that are appearing. You can see that since June she published 5 videos, and these are the videos that she published. This is the actual text of those videos. I mean, right now we are not going to dive deep into this, but this is what we downloaded, and here are the quarterly files as well for Q2 and Q3. And from here you can do exactly the same as what I showed you earlier. If I open this in Explorer or in Finder, then I can take the quarterly files and drop them into Notebook LM, and I can talk to Notebook LM about this channel. And again, you can combine multiple channels like this. So if you're interested, you can run the script even in the same vault multiple times, and then you can take all of those and drop them into Notebook LM. Now, one side comment, I don't recommend doing this in your main vault. So what I did was I published these files to the Obsidian Excalidraw wiki, but before that, I actually processed the files here, and when I was ready, then I copied them over to my main vault that I use for publishing to Obsidian Publish. And that's what I recommend, that you keep this vault with the downloads separate. And this takes us to the next puzzle piece, or next 2 puzzle pieces in our puzzle. First one is about Obsidian being a perfect workbench for such PKM projects. And I cannot stress this enough. Obsidian with the API, with templater, with data view, with Excalidraw automate scripts, and of course with the support of models like ChatGPT that help you create script. Obsidian is the ideal platform to do such projects. I'm finding that my go-to tool for such automations is exclusively Obsidian, and I use it for many things. This is one example, but really every week there's a use case where I need to automate something or process some data. It could be for work, it could be for hobby, it could be for my channel, there are many cases. Just yesterday, I downloaded all my old blog posts from blogger.com that I wanted to decommission anyway, and they are now available in Obsidian Publish. And guess what? How did I do it? I did the whole process using Obsidian and some scripts. So Obsidian is your operating system for PKM, and it's so much more than just a note-taking tool. If you learn how to use these features in Obsidian, it becomes this magic toolbox of powerful tools that you can use for PKM processes like this one. That there's a YouTube channel, you want to get the data, you want to learn from it, maybe you want to integrate some of these notes into your own notes. Obsidian gives you the tools that this is really super easy. It's handy, it's easy, it works, and it's integrated with all your other notes. So that's just for me an important takeaway from all of this, that Obsidian is the perfect tool for PKM tinkering or PKM automation. And then this takes us to the last piece in our puzzle, and that's Techno-Visual PKM. I'm launching the Techno-Visual PKM community. Check the link in the video description. There's going to be a launch event. It's free. You can sign up for free, and it's going to be next week Saturday. So that's the 11th of January Saturday. It's going to be evening European time, which means it's going to be relatively early morning Australia and New Zealand, and it's going to be midday to afternoon in the US. Hopefully everyone finds their right time. In Tokyo, it's going to be 5 in the morning, so it's borderline acceptable. But unfortunately, with a global time zone, it's impossible to find the ideal time zone for everyone. Sign up for the kickoff session, the launch session. At the launch session, we're going to look at this workflow that I talked about today. There are so many special cases. So for example, you have the data JSON or the data file there. If you would want to find out how many videos it contains, or what's the earliest and the latest video, or how many videos you have per quarter, these are all good questions that are easy to find if you know how to ask the script. The community is going to be a paid community, so after this free event you will need to sign up for the community if you continue to be interested. I plan this to be an interactive community where we talk about everything around PKM automation. It can be Excalidraw scripts, it can be data view, it can be templater, it can be AI for templater, it can be any other automation in and around Obsidian. The idea is you can bring your projects and we can work on that project together as a community, or you can come with questions. You will have like-minded people who share information between each other and who work on these projects. I think this is an awesome community. I really have high hopes for how this is going to work. And this is not for the black belt pros. My idea is to make this into something that's approachable, where you can really learn the basics of scripting and learn how you can use ChatGPT and other tools to help you along the way. It's actually not that difficult. Of course, you need to have some basic command of an understanding of scripting, but it is not that hard. So I encourage you to check out the launch session. You can find the link in the video description and then sign up for the launch next Saturday. When you sign up for the launch session, you will get a link to download this demo vault, so you can already play with this downloader process, and we can then have a conversation around it. And hopefully I'll see you at the launch session. And just to recap, so what we covered today, we started from this basic problem of how can I find relevant information about Obsidian Excalidraw. From here, we went to a more generic solution about how can I download YouTube videos and how can I process them into meaningful files. That led to the idea that, you know what, this can be used for any YouTube channel. And finally, this takes us to Techno-Visual PKM, because Obsidian is your ideal PKM automation workbench. And if you learn the basics of how to use this workbench, then Obsidian opens up for you. It is so much more than a note-taking tool. Already Excalidraw transforms Obsidian into this beautiful visual tool. But then if you have the scripting skills, it transforms it into this creative tool that you can use to automate, to use AI, to really do whatever you have in mind in terms of your notes, in terms of interrogating data, in terms of getting really more out of your PKM. And that's all I had in store for you today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next week, Saturday. Thank you.